All right, here we go again. In the second season, we are up in the top flight. B93 is back for the first time in a very, very long time. The last time we were in the Superliga, oh my God, to be honest with you, I don't even know when. It's been a long time. That's all I'm going to say. It's been a very long time. Let's see if we can find out. 1999 was the last time that the mighty B93 were up in the top flight of Danish football. So we have already done a big challenge and brought them back. And as you can see, the last time we were there, we finished with 12 points. So let's see if we can do better than that. Let's see if we can do better than that, boys. So let us do some recapping. Obviously, there's not much of the offseason to recap you with, considering, we didn't have any signings. That's the point of this. You guys know that by now. So last season in the top flight, let's go over competition. Last season in the top flight, FC Midtjylland, I'm so good at pronunciation. So, FC Midtjylland, amazing pronunciation, I'm sure. They won the league by 3 points. It was close with 59 points. So they won 15. Now, again, it's hard to tell because when you go here, there's only 22 games. When you go here, there's 32 games. But regardless, it is what it is. They were crowned champions. Brøndby finished second only by 3. Viborg by 9. And then Copenhagen, our rivals, finishing in 4th, getting the last place for European football. So it's going to be a tough season. As you can see, the experts are not backing your boy to stay up. They are actually giving us 1,000-to-1 shots to win the league. Now, of course, I'm not stupid. I have high hopes for us, yeah, but I don't think we're gonna really have any sort of challenge in year one. I think my realistic goal for us in the first season is I would love to finish around 8th to 10th. I would love that. I'd love that a lot. Now, as we can see here, when we eventually go to the relegation spot, the very bottom 2 teams will go down. So just like last season, 2 teams come up, clearly 2 teams will go down. So I really doubt that we will be sneaking into the top half this season in this group. I really see us finishing around here. And like I said, overall, I'm just hoping to finish outside of the bottom 2. If we sit comfortably in 10th, I'll be happy. And if we can climb around, 9 to 8, I'll be thrilled. So that is the year we have ahead of us. Like I said, the big clubs, obviously Midtjylland is the reigning champions, but of course Copenhagen are city rivals, just down the street from us. They are tipped to win. They are in Europa League, all of that good stuff. And as the Danish division goes, I've played here before in some other saves, obviously never doing this, but it's a very fun league. A lot of the times it's not like some other smaller leagues where, they're Celtic or where they're just going to dominate, right? This league, as we've already seen, Midtjylland won and Copenhagen finished 4th. Nordsjælland even was a little bit farther down there. Teams like Viborg came in 3rd. Brøndby finished 2nd. So, it is a competitive league where a lot can happen. So I'm looking forward to that. If we look at the key players for the overall league, right? You got to go for a little bit, but we do have 2 of them. I think on paper, the only player for us that is good for this division is Okore, who of course is 32 years old. So we did bring him back. We'll go over the current team, what we got, but he is back on a 2-year deal. We're paying him about the same as he was getting, $224,000 a year. And again, money isn't really an issue because we're not going out there and trying to get other superstars to bring in. We're not paying transfer fees. It's all just reinvesting in the current squad that we had. So he's going to be our star man again on the back line. Hopefully he can kind of dodge those injuries that plagued him last season. But as you can see, he is now showing that he is susceptible to the injuries. So let's hope we can avoid that. The other player that we have listed anywhere near the top, 50 or so players in the league is, of course, the main man, Andreas Bredel, from last season. Now, he also received a new contract from us. He was only on 1 year left, so we gave him a brand new 2-year deal. As you can see, he's only still good for the second division, but he's going to be our star man. I don't know what I just said. He's going to be our star man up top. We gave him the number 9, took his 19 off, and we're going to see if we can get what we got last year out of him. Again, last year, he finished with 15 goals, 6 assists for a big 21 total goal contributions in his 27 games. Really, really good turnaround from him. And he finished second in the Golden Boot race. So this year, he's going to get the same amount of game time. He's going to be our man leading the line. Overall, I think he can get double-digit goals. You know, the way that we're going to try to play, we're not going to try to park the bus. We're not going to try to stay up scared. We're going to try to stay up and get all these kids, you know, the development that they need. And the good news about him, he's still 22. So he could still see a little bit of, you know, progression here, which would be great. So if we look at the rest of the squad, Julius Voldby, who came on late last season after his very rocky start, he finished with 7 total goal contributions. Not the best, but his late season charge did help us secure promotion. Now, again, he was another one that we talked about at the end of the last video, or the end of the last time that we saw each other, rather. And he was wanted by 2 or 3 clubs in the Superliga, one of which being Copenhagen, which obviously, since I keep saying it, there are rivals. I'm trying to drill it into all of these players' heads. I want it to become a big rivalry. You know, I want it to be a thing where we just hate each other. So, of course, I wasn't going to let him go there. And as you can see, he is locked up on a brand new, lucrative, long-term deal. We have locked up JV for 4 years, paying him $146,000 a year, and his value has rose to potentially about $2 million. And for this club, that's huge. So he will also have some game time this season, just like last. Now, one thing to talk about. I said it before, a lot of our talent currently relies up top. You know, Bredel, Voldby, Namani, and of course the new young guys, Voss, Harlev, they're all forwards, whether they be striker or wingers. And I think, just maybe, we might move to some wingers a few times this season, just so we can spread out all of this talent and we don't have anybody sitting on the bench. So again, Voldby's back in a new contract, Bredel Okore's back in a new contract. Speaking of Namani, he's also back in a new 2-year deal. Again, a talented, pacey winger who can play striker. We're going to see what we end up doing this season, whether it's running wingers or running our, you know, double forwards up top. But either way, he's going to be important, again, simply because he has pace. And that's what we're going to have to rely on because we don't have a lot of great talent. As you can see, we brought back mostly everybody. You know, Mortensen's back again. He was a very creative fullback for us last season that I think tallied about 8 assists, 9. So he's going to be important. Again, most people have 2 more years on their current deals. Now, this man, the vice captain, Wogomuth, got him a nice new profile picture because he's wearing his B93 kit, all that good stuff. I think this is our, you know, this is our dark horse for the glue of the team. I think he's going to be a very, very important player this year in the Superliga. Last year, he was good. You know, he averaged just under a 7, had 4 assists and a goal, but he's not the guy that's going to be putting up insane numbers. He's not going to have 10 assists. He's not going to average a 7-2. He's going to do just what we need. And that could be him playing DM. It could be him playing in midfield. It could be him playing box-to-box, Mazzala. He could be back as the deep line playmaker. He's kind of just going to be the plug-and-play midfielder that we're going to need week in and week out. So I'm really hoping that we can avoid this. As he's 30 now, I'm hoping that he doesn't get any injuries because that will be detrimental to us. Now, again, I mentioned it last time. The Superliga is the same. I think this is just a blanket rule for all of Denmark. You can't play in professional games if you're under 16, as you can see right down here. You know, under 21 are eligible to play in anything, but you have to be at least 16. So a lot of these superstar studs that we got in our first intake, they don't turn 16 until October, November. So the first, you know, 1, 2, 2.5 to 3 months, we're going to be without all of these, you know, studs that we have been waiting to see indeed. Now, as you can see, Casper the Ghost right here, he is looking like still such a stud. 15 years old. He's already listed as a 3-star at midfield, a 3-star up top. I can't wait to see what he can do for us in the squad. He is going to be one of the few people that we're just going to throw in right away and let him develop and let him make mistakes, let him learn, let him grow. It's going to be fantastic to see. And the other one that's going to be up there is Michael Harlev, the one that I keep saying I think, more excited about. Voss is obviously better, especially for how young they are. Voss, I think, also has a little bit more potential, but something about a 6'3" striker with good physicals and a good holy trinity right here just speak to me spiritually. So I can't wait to unleash those two out there. As you can see, Harlev took the 19 from Bradel, as Bradel is now wearing the 9. So big things coming from these two. Now, someone else to watch out for. We're going to go over 2 or 3 more players real quick. Michael Grieve right here. We didn't think much of him in the beginning because he was a winger. We weren't really running wingers, and he didn't really look too amazing on paper. What I think has already happened, and he has started to kind of kick off, but the 16 passing can't be overlooked. His pace can't be overlooked, and he does have some decent mentals here. He's obviously going to have to get much better at dribbling and crossing, and his first touch needs to come up, but the technique in passing at 15 is something that's hard to, gloss over. So if we do use some wingers, he will be seeing some game time, and if we do need some emergency strike options, he will also come in. Now, one more player that we haven't talked much about is Thomas Sogard. Another player that when they first came in, he was kind of passed over because of the Harlev and, the Casper, because they were so good and they looked so great. But on paper, Thomas looks very good, especially in a thin midfield depth that we have. He has the passing. He has the technique. He can also head the ball. He has good first touch. His determination's not bad, and his other mentals are on the edge. They're all 8, 9, and 10, so they can get up there quick. The only thing that we're going to have to watch for him is his physicals are horrible. He's not going to win the ball back. He's only got 4 strength. He's not going to outpace nobody, and realistically, his stamina is very low. But we can't be choosy here, you know what I mean? Beggars cannot be choosy when it comes to, we can't be out here dipping in the transfer market. So he's going to be one that when these kids all turn 16, they're going to be in. Now, speaking of 2 that are already 16, Kim Heimer right here, as we talked about last time, all 3 of our last season goalkeepers were up for a new deal. I did only bring back 1, and that's Falksgaard. Now, Falksgaard is 34, but in goalkeeper years, we all know that means he's probably still got 2 or 3 left in his tank, and we did sign him back on a 2-year contract. He's solid. He's nothing amazing. He's only good for the 3rd division, according to our current coaches. So that's not amazing, but he'll be the bridge. Kim Heimer is going to be the backup. Kim Heimer will be getting game time. Remember, this save is not trying to win titles right off the bat. We know this is going to be a long-term save. We know that this might take, decades to get to where we want to go. So these initial years, I'm spending so much time showing everything because these are the foundation years. We're going to be growing these players, and this first couple batch of intake are going to be the superstars of our team because we don't ever want to let any of these guys go. Kim Heimer might end up making 500 club appearances. Who knows? Because right now, he's the only goalkeeper we got in the intake, and he is going to be getting a lot of game time. So hopefully, the 16-year-old 6'3" keeper can get a lot of game time and a lot of development. Now, another 16-year-old that will be getting the same amount of chances as Klaus Andreas that we talked about last time. So Klaus Andreas in here, again, a position of need, a position that we don't have a lot of depth in. I know it looks like he's 5th in the depth chart, but like we showed last time, Moeller and Hendrickson are the only ones that are actual out-and-out right backs. Nico Thompson's one of our midfielders, and Jacob is one of our center backs. So on paper, technically, he's our 3rd fullback, maybe even 2nd, because Hendrickson we also use in midfield. So he's going to be getting game time, most likely off the bench, most likely in rotation matches. But I see a player here. I said this last time about him, but I really do. He's already got good pace, good stamina. We got to work on a couple of his other physicals. But then when it comes to his mentals, I like what I see. His decisions, the determination, the bravery, and then a lot, again, of 8, 9, 10s. He can grow quickly, I think. And then when it comes to his technicals, those are what we're going to have to work on. He can't dribble. He can't go forward. And I do like my fullbacks and wingbacks to get up the pitch. So that's going to have to be worked on bad. If that can ever get up close to 7, 8, I'll be happy. The crossing is already good at 10. The marking, passing, tackling already also good at 9 and 8. So I think he will be a player for us. We're just going to have to see what we can get out of him. So again, for the beginning of year number 2, these are the players. You know a lot of them. No one has changed. These are the guys from last season. These are the guys going to be doing it this season. We do have game 1 starting off against Silkeborg, and then, of course, the reigning champions at home. Now, a few other things that I do want to touch on before we get into it is the board has decided to build a new stadium. We are currently playing in Brøndby Stadium this season because in the Superliga, you have to have a stadium that holds at least 10,000. In our stadium last year, I think it only held about 6, maybe 5. So currently, we are building a new stadium. It's going to be a 10,000-seater. It'll probably take about 2 years or so. So we'll see what happens with that, and we'll see what we can do. Another thing is the training facilities. No, I'm sorry. The youth facilities were downgraded. So we're already down 1 when it comes to facilities. And obviously, while we're here together, let's see if we can work on facilities. And then let's see if we can also work on youth recruitment. Because we got to keep asking pretty much every time we can. I asked a little bit ago. They denied it. It is what it is. But as you can see, we have money in the bank finally. We had some good competition money. The board gave us about $2 million to clear the debt. And then, the rest has just been sponsorships and things like that. So I'm going to make sure that we can try to get the facilities back up and that we can make sure we can actually make it happen. So for tactics this season, we're still going to be mainly, I assume, running what we did last season, the kind of Christmas tree formation here, the 4-1-3-2. Again, it's just very simple. We're passing the space, we're playing quick tempo, and then on counters and transitions and such, we're going to be countering and we're going to be pressing just a bit. We're not going super aggressive. We're not going max aggressiveness when it comes to the press. It's just enough. Now, one thing that I have been messing with a little bit in the preseason was something that might be a little bit more secure for the Prem. Well, not the Prem, but the Superliga, which is a back 5. So a little bit more solid in the defense, and then also having 2 wingers, because again, we have a lot of options in that spot. Another one is potentially something more attacking, where we have a 4-2-4, where we do have the wingers and we also do still have the 2 strikers up top. So we might be getting a different looks this season just to see what can go on. But for now, we're going to see what happens. So for year number 2, that's how we're looking. That's how we're shaking out. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting season. Realistically, like I keep saying, I would love to finish 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. If we go above that, I will be extremely surprised. Extremely surprised. Because on paper, this team is not good. We only got 1 player that's good for the division we're currently in. And there's going to be a handful of players that are 3rd division quality playing, if not lower, especially once we start bringing in all the youth. So there we go. It's going to be a fun season. What I'm going to do is we will probably check back in somewhere around the winter. That's where we'll come back. We'll see what the youth intake preview's looking like. We'll catch up halfway through. I'll let you know how the young guys are doing. And then after that, just like normal, we'll look at the youth intake and go from there. So that's how it is. Year 2 underway, starting now. All right, here we are, March 24th of year number 2. As you can see, we've got a good amount to talk about. So we have played the first 22 matches of the season. It's been interesting. It's been interesting. As you can see, we are currently sitting in 9th, which is where I kind of thought we would finish. I thought we would finish around the 8 to 10 spot. All we need to do is not finish bottom 2, and we're fine. So currently, we're not very safe. We got a 6-point cushion above 11th. So we're currently 6 games above the relegation zone. I think we can do it. We do have 10 games left. The season just split into the championship and the relegation group. So as you can see, here's where we're going to sit when it comes time for the final 10 games of the season. So now, here it is. As you can see, it ain't gonna be easy. But what's crazy is we're only 2 points off the top of the relegation group. And weirdly enough, in Denmark, if we take a look, if you finish first in the relegation group, you go to the European Places playoff. So, don't question it. You never know. We could somehow, some way make it to European football in year 3 simply because we topped the relegation group in Denmark. Stranger things could happen. Anyway, though, this is going to be an interesting part of the video. As you can tell, we are in late March, and just like last season, the youth intake has arrived. So we're going to go dive into that. I have done just like last time. As soon as it hit, I stopped. I can't tell you guys how hard it was because it was late last night again, and we hit youth intake. So I stopped. I saw it briefly, but I didn't click on any single player. I just saw the overall announcement of it and left it at that. So now it's a new morning. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm here to dive into it all with you guys. But I am going to make you wait for a little bit. We're going to go check out how the rest of the squad's been performing because mostly everybody from year 1 has been 16 since at least October. So they've played for a few months, and now we can see how the initial foundation of this whole group is playing. Andreas Breidel, last season's star man for us. Honestly, for as bad as we are in this first season of Top Flight, trying to kind of adjust to it all, 6 goals in 18 matches is very nice. I can't complain about that at all. I think at the end of the last video, I was saying that I was hoping he could net us about 8. So, he's on pace for that. He's got 8 total when it comes to goal contributions, averaging close to a 7. And he has been playing a lot of winger this year. We have kind of changed the formation up. We are very aggressive some games when we come out in this. And the reason for it is because we have so many forwards that came into that first youth intake that I wanted to get them all game time. Like, as you can see, Sogard's getting game time. So obviously he's taking up a midfield role. We have Kasper Voss playing up top a lot of the time. We will also have Volby playing on the right wing, so we can also put in Harlev up top at striker. So we have, at any given time, anywhere from 4 to 5 of the first year intake players starting the match. Now, if you want to hear something that's crazy, if you remember that first intake, and you remember some of the people that we thought were stars, Kasper Voss, obviously, and Michael Harlev, obviously, we thought were going to be the superstars. Weirdly enough, from the first intake, Kim Heimer, the goalkeeper, who started out, if I believe I'm correct, I'm pretty sure he started out as a DS level player currently when he came through at 16, which is the non-league. And as you can see now, he's all the way good for the Nordic Bet Liga. So he's already good for the 2nd division of where we're playing. And he's been our number 1 keeper. I know when we spoke last time to you guys, we signed Foxgard back on a 2-year deal. He played 5 matches for us and was so terrible in those first 5 matches. He averaged a 6.3, but more importantly, he let in 14 goals in 5 games. Now, again, I know we're not a good team, right? I wasn't expecting us to have clean sheet after clean sheet, but Jesus Christ, 14 goals in 5 games was absolute madness. And I was like, hey, if we're going to suck, we might as well suck with the 16-year-old that has a bunch of potential, right? So I threw him in, and he has been honestly far better than I ever thought. So let's take a look at him because you guys are not ready for what I've been seeing. Look at these progressions in all of his stats. His command of area has been up 5. Communication is up 4. One-on-one, 2. Throwing, 2. Anticipation, 4. 3, 3, 1, 3, 2. It is just astronomical how good he has gotten lately. I mean, look at his chart. From when he came in, he was a 1-star, and now he's all the way up to a 3-star in 1 year. Literally almost on the dot 1 year, because this is about the same time we had the youth intake last season. So he has become a star boy, and crazy enough, I'm going to show it here on the screen because I took a screenshot of when it happened. He won the Golden Glove as a 17-year-old. Just, let that sink in really quick. He beat out Leopold, who's the keeper for the current team in first, and the keeper from Copenhagen, who is our rivals. So just, let that all sink in that this kid right here, Kim Heimer, I misspoke. He won it when he was 16. He's now 17, but when the award actually was voted on and he won it, he was a 16-year-old keeper. So he has been the star boy out of nowhere. He's averaging, like we said earlier, almost a 7-1. He's got 5 shutouts and 17 appearances. So let's take a look at some other people and catch up. Casper the Ghost. He has been slowly adjusting, I will say. I definitely would have thought he would have been more of an instant impact player. But again, these are all, these are all youth academy kids that were just thrown into the fire. In his 8 games, he does have no goals, but he's got 2 assists. It's kind of been 50-50 if we're playing him back at midfield or if we're playing him up top on the line. It kind of depends on the formation, who's healthy, how we're feeling that day. Obviously, his pace and his physicals aren't the greatest when we do throw him up top, and I think that's really what hinders him. He's not quick enough, nor does he have enough strength at all to really beat defenders. I am still happy with, how he's performing and how he's progressing. If we take a deep dive at this, I don't think he's going up too much. But he's got a lot of mentals that are on the rise, which is great. For a 16-year-old, his mentals are crazy. You know what I mean? Like, this is nuts for someone that's so young. So I still think he's going to be a star for us. I just think he's kind of slowly coming into it. Now, speaking of someone else that we know is going to be a star, and we saw earlier on the score sheet, is 6'3" Michael Harlev, the striker that I was honestly more impressed by when we first got him in the intake. So again, only 5 games so far because him and Casper had late birthdays, so they couldn't play until about 2 months ago. He's played 5. He scored in 1. Again, they're kind of slowly getting into it. But overall, when they're out there on the field, they are getting at least a feel for what it's like to play against professional players that are double their age. So it's been interesting. One other person that I've been very impressed with is Sogard. This was a kid that I believe we talked about last episode because I didn't really see him as like one of the key guys, right? But look at all of his up arrows. I know, again, average rating's not looking the best, but again, it's not about that, especially in year 1. None of our players here are going to have good ratings in year 1 when we're so terrible. We're just fighting to stay up. We're fighting to make sure that we don't go back down to the Bet Liga. But another kid just like Kim who is absolutely soaring. Look at all of these. +3s everywhere, a couple +4s in his mentals. His physicals are even going up a bunch. I really think he is going to be a rock of a player for us right in the midfield. He's been very good. Again, for as bad as the team is, I can definitely see that when he's out there on the pitch, it makes sense. He's not getting lost. He's not really playing terribly. The team overall just isn't the best. Here's Michael Grave. Again, 2 goals, 2 assists from our left wing. Not that bad. He's progressing. I know he was another one when he first came in. He had almost no technicals rather, besides his dribbling, his passing. But look at that. His dribbling's up 2, so he can actually dribble now. His first touch is also up 2. So he's becoming a pretty crafty little winger out there for us. The passing and the technique alone are great, and he's still got those nice 14 acceleration and 14 pace. So I think overall, everybody has been benefiting a lot from this game time, regardless of us sitting just a little bit above relegation. But we're fine. We're fine. It's not that bad. But now, let's dive in to what we're all here for in this part of it. So this is what I saw last night before, I got to actually dive into it all. This also tweaked me because for some reason we just kept canceling the Youth Academy friendly. I have no idea why. It just kept conflicting with apparently all of our games. But anyway, take a peek at this. We have another Golden Generation, which I know seems like it's crazy, right? But when your team's as bad as ours, I think almost any youth intake would be a Golden Generation. So, it's probably not as good as it seems, but boy, I am excited about it. This year, I think we have even more elite talents than last year. We have 6 elite talents, and we have 5 top talents. Ooh, a DM, couple midfielders down here, more forwards. We got a winger. We got, a midfielder, a right back, a striker, and a striker. So let's go ahead and do just like we did last year. Actually, we're going to reverse it. We're going to save Roman for last, who's an Armenian, apparently. I don't know how we have an Armenian connection. I don't think we have any affiliates. Nope, especially one in Armenia. So shout out to us getting a random Armenian in. I think I saw a German down here too. Yeah. 2 Germans and an Armenian came through our youth academy, so that's fire. Anyway, here is the first player of the intake. Unambitious personality, but high determination, so I'm sure we could mentor that out of him. A 6-foot keeper. He's got good agility, good handling. That's kind of about it. And good positioning, but man, he is looking rough on paper. Can't communicate, has a terrible command of his area, and not great aerial reach. But again, Kim Heimer on paper didn't look good. So you never know what could happen. He's probably just going to be a backup for Kim, especially since Kim's progressing and playing so well. But we do need that, especially when it comes to registration and things like that. So Steenbeck, insane name. But there's our first one. Nothing too crazy there. Apparently, our head of youth thinks that Andreas Jorgensen Berg is the diamond of this intake. So actually, he might have more potential than this kid who has really crazy good starting potential. So let's see. On to the midfielder here, Jonas Gunst, also a crazy name. Another ambitious personality, only 5 determinations, so not the best. He honestly just kind of looks like a tank, like a destroyer in the midfield role. Like I said earlier, we really do need a holding midfielder. We need a defensive midfielder. We don't really have much back there in that department. And I think, at least thanks to his mentals, he's got good aggression. He's very brave. His teamwork and work rate are off the charts for some unknown reason. That's probably the only reason he can play left back. But, I think he's got something there. So far, though, nothing has been outrageous. So let's take a look at the left winger, Nicholas. What is this last name? Nicholas Markfoged? Shout out to Nicholas, man. Crazy name. 5'10", can play with both feet, which is nice. He tries to play his way out of trouble, which is good for a winger, but he can't really dribble. Good news is he can play both wings and up top, so this looks like a nice little depth piece at the wings. He's already 16, so he could already feature for us if we ever needed. Another one that's not bad, but if all these potentials are true, we at least have a bunch of potential kids coming through. What is this? Shadi Mansour. Wow, it looks awful. I can't even lie to you guys. Potential be damned. He's 2-footed, 5'11". He's fast at least. One strength is crazy, especially for a kid that they're trying to push as a pressing forward. You kind of need that when you're going to be battling for the ball 24/7, trying to wrangle him up. So he's fast. He has pretty good mentals. He's at least determined and ambitious, but Jesus Lord, 5 first touches criminal. Can't really dribble. I was going to say maybe he's a winger because his crossing's not bad and his dribbling's not bad to go at the pace, but the first touch is just diabolical. What is this guy? For any of you that are out here, I guess let me know what you think he could be because I don't have an idea. Let's check out Andreas, who's the one that they say is the diamond of this year's group. Okay. That's a little bit better. Another unambitious personality. That's 3 of the first 5 that we've looked at have that personality. His determination's not bad, but it's not amazing. It's only 7. Really good first touch, good technique, especially for a 15-year-old. He's about to turn 16 in about a month, so that's good. Off the ball is already good. He's got good flair, really brave, also really good composure for someone so young. His physicals are not bad. He's, again, not very strong, but it is what it is. At least it's not 1. He's pretty quick, got decent agility and balance. And overall, I think he can become a striker. Honestly, he can play on the wing too with his 10 crossing, 10 dribbling. So I can see it. He must have the best potential of the group, or at least compared to, what our head of youth thinks, if he's calling him the gym. Very consistent, which is nice. The competitive streak is pretty funny, especially for a striker. I kind of like that. Looking like a decent little player over here. Not bad at all. So far, though, unless this kid's outrageous, last year's first youth intake seems to be the overall better one. So we're going to see what Roman, the Armenian's looking like. Okay, I might take that back. Roman Gorvagayan, I have no idea. Literally born in Armenia, and then I guess, migrated to Denmark with his family. Thank God they did, because we have a 15-year-old superstar, it looks like. His birthday's coming up in about 2 months. So that is good, because this kid is already listed as our tied for second best right back. But look at him. He's got like the Gareth Bale in him. He can play entirely up the right wing. I didn't even see the 14 finishing. Okay, let's just go over this. So first of all, he's got determination's 13. That's not bad at all. I like that. Mercenary personality, which some people don't like. I don't mind it. It usually just means they look out for themselves. The bad news is, when it comes to that, is he might want to leave the club at some point because he's looking out for his own interests. So we'll see. We'll see if he has high or low loyalty. But 2-footed fullback. This is very rare that you get a right back region or a left back region that can actually go forward. So this is really good. 12 crossing, 7 dribbling's not bad. The 14 finishing is crazy. That might be better finishing than like any striker on my team. First touch isn't bad at 8. Also, he can take free kicks. I'm just seeing that too. This is going to be a stud. This kid is actually going to be, oh my God, I'm actually very excited now. Marking is already 10. His passing's 10. His tackling is 13. His technique's 11. Work rate and teamwork are off the charts, 18, 17. He has flair. What is this? Okay, composure's an 8. Now I'm like trying to poke holes in his game for how young he is. This is crazy. A natural complete wingback also. I'm just seeing that too. Jesus Christ. I don't know where I'm going to play him, but he's going to play almost instantly. Roman the Great. Okay, we might, yeah. I'm not mad at this anymore. A lot of these guys don't look great, but Roman alone looks like he is going to save this youth intake and hopefully save B93. So we'll take a look at a couple more of these top talents. Another unambitious. What's weird is our youth development guy, he's got a good personality. It's fairly ambitious. His determination's 13. So I don't know where they're getting all these bad, personality types coming in, but it is what it is. This kid doesn't look bad. Just turned 16 about 2 months back. His first touch is good. His technique's good. He's got good flair and decisions. I can see it. I don't mind that at all. What's the German looking like? Okay. That's actually a pretty good winger. Can dribble, has pace, not much else to offer. But again, when you're playing winger, I don't really need much else. As long as you can get up the field and whip a ball in every now and then and be a little crafty, that's not bad. Okay, another midfielder that can play deeper back. The tackling is already really good. He has good technique. Vision is nice. First touch is nice. This is just straight up a natural deep line playmaker right here, which is good. Determination's decent at 11. He's balanced personality. All right, I like Beaumonto, honestly, than one of the other people in the elite ones that was a midfielder. Okay, well, that's year number 2's youth intake, highlighted by the potential superstar of Roman the Great, the Armenian 15-year-old right back, right wing, who I think is going to be an absolute demon for us. And I mean that in a great way, because Jesus, just look at him. I am ecstatic. All right, so next time when we catch back up here just in a second, we are going to be at the end of the season. We'll show you guys how we finished. We'll go over the stats for everybody for year number 2, and then we will jump on to the year 3, show you guys how we're going to line up for year 3, and then jump into the same cut like last time. So just like I was saying, episode 2 will probably be at least season 2 and 3, maybe a little bit into 4, because now we kind of have the template done. Episode 1 was a little bit longer since it was just season 1, but I wanted you guys to learn about the club, show you the current players, get to know it all, so then we could kind of do 2 or 3 seasons at a time in about an hour-long video. So that's when we'll catch up. We'll catch up at the end of May, show you how we finished, and then go into the 3rd season. So let's do it. Okay, welcome back. We are at the end of the season of year number 2. Excuse my voice. It's like 2 a.m, and it's been a weekend. I had a lot of family over, so my voice is kind of shot, but deal with it, I guess. So here we are. When we last checked in and saw you guys last time, we just had the 2nd youth intake. And at first glance, I know as I was recording it, I said that, outside of the right back we got, it didn't look like the best, right? I was wrong. Okay? I was wrong. Roman's not even our hot prospect. Shadi is. And I remember I was dunking on this kid when he first came in. He didn't look good, but he's looking pretty good now. I think he could be a decent little winger overall. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the season recap for year number 2. As I'm talking about all this, I think I'm going to be showing some highlights on the screen of some games that we played so you guys can see how the kids looked for year number 2. And then after this, we're going to jump to year number 3. I'm going to go through the offseason because there's not much for you guys to see. And we're going to play the first game of year number 3 with live comms and then go through year 3. So episode 2, this one, should be all of season 2, all of season 3, and then that will be it for the video. So as you guys can see here, I wish there was a way I could see this better because it makes no sense, but we did finish 9th, even though this is from the preliminary phase, but that is where we finished. I can show you that, but there's no good way to look at the Superliga table, right? Like, here's the preliminary phase, the first 22 matches. Here's the championship phase. Here's the relegation phase. But obviously, we didn't finish third. We finished ninth. So, as you can see, through 32 games, we won 10, we drew 6, and we lost 16 with a negative 13 goal differential. We ended up finishing 10 points clear of relegation. Honestly, it's a lot better than I thought we were going to do, to be very, very frank with you guys. You know, I remember when we first started the second season, I remember saying that I would like to finish probably at least 10th because that was safe from relegation. You know, there's 12 teams in the league, and 11 and 12 go straight down. So Silkeborg and Sonder are going right back down. Funny enough, OB that came up with us last year, you remember they rolled the group. Look at them. You know, they finished 4th overall this year because of this championship group. So they just missed out on Europe, their first year back in the top flight. But as for us, we did end up 9th. So I'm pretty impressed with that. We had a chance with 2 games left. We had a chance to finish top in the relegation stage, which would have seen us play against our bitter rivals in just across the city, FC Copenhagen. And that would have been for a spot at Europe. Obviously, they stomped on Rangers, and Copenhagen now has booked their spot. When we last saw you, we were in late March, right? Right around here, before it split into the stage. And as you can see, our final 10 games were pretty good. Out of the 10, we had 5 wins, only 3 losses. You know, so I will take that, especially when we're only playing, you know, the other bad of the bunch. But that's kind of a good little end of the year morale boost for us. And even the games we were losing, look at what we were scoring. We dropped 2 and lost. We dropped 2 and lost. We dropped 3 and lost. Even in our draws, 3-2. The offense was coming alive. And one thing that I really wanted to point out is last time we saw each other, we were looking at Kasper Voss, Kasper the Ghost, right? When I showed you guys his stats just a few months back in March, he had no goals. No goals. Now look at the kid. He finished the year averaging almost a 7-1. Those last 10 games of the year, he really came into his own. If you look at the form right here, that's where he scored every single goal. The final 10 matches, he averaged a 7-4. He had 8 goals, 2 assists in the last 10. You know, some of these, he was above 8. He was going crazy. Hopefully you're seeing right now or earlier some of those highlights. He had a lot of goals, a lot of great goals. He won a goal of the month, I think once. He also won a goal of the week, I think once. You know, he was hitting top bins. He was making a nice little moves. And as you can see, he's currently the key player on the team already at 16. Listed as a Superliga standard player already at 16. 16 years old. And this kid is ready for the challenge that, you know, awaits him. Now, one thing to talk about is this. He's only under contract for 1 more season. We do have an optional contract extension for 2 more. So technically, he's with us for 3 more years. The bad news is I just tried to offer him a new deal, and his agent told me he has no interest. He wants the squad to be significantly improved. So hopefully, over the next season, we can make an improvement on this 9th place finish. We can make an improvement over showing him that we do have some more youth talent like him coming through, and he'll be more inclined to sign a new deal. Because right now, we're in the stage where most of these youth players we got in year 1, their contracts are going to end around the end of, you know, next season. Of course, most of them have that clause, but, you know, like Michael Harlev, here's a good example. We just offered him a new deal, and he had, you know, he was fine with it. I think we gave him a 3-year deal with a 3-year extension, so he's going to be locked up for 6 years. He didn't want a release clause. He didn't want nothing. And while we're here, let's take a look at him. Over his last 10 games, he averages 6-8, 3 goals, 2 assists. He was a weird one. Again, he was the one that I kept telling you guys I think I liked more than Kasper on paper just because he was 6'3". He had the physical gifts mixed with the technical ability, right? Overall, not a bad year for a 16-year-old. You know, he featured in 15 games, 13 of them being starts, and he had 4 goals, 2 assists. So I can't be mad at it. There's one that I'm very excited about, and there's one that I was really disappointed with. We're going to start with the one I was disappointed with. Andreas Briedel, the key man from last season's campaign to get promotion, had a very down year. Look at the last 10 matches that he played in. The last 10 matches, which, by the way, were against the bottom half of the table, he averaged a 6.4. No goals, no assists, just straight ass. So I don't know what happened. I was playing him at striker. I was playing him at inside forward on the left. I was trying to play him everywhere, and he kind of just, pissed himself. That piss ran down his leg. I don't know what else to say about it. The lights were too bright for Andreas Bredel for some unknown reason. So I'm really hoping it was just a bad slump. The one I was very excited about is look at young JV, Julius Voldby, coming to his own in the year of the Superliga. Only 20 years old still. 30 games he played in, 30 starts, 10 goals in the league, 4 assists, averaging a 6.7. And if we take a peek at his progression since we had him, look at this, just skyrocketing. I mean, his dribbling was 11. Now it's 14. His first touch was 14. Now it's 16. Look at how many of those are above 3 that have gone up. And they're only going to keep going. And I think this kid is really, really good. He's really important for us. Of course, he's not a regen. He's not a new gen. He didn't come through our academy, but he's only played professionally for us. So he's technically a B93 till he dies. This is the only club that he's ever featured with professionally, and I'd like to keep it that way. We did end up sticking mainly to this. We've stuck to this 4-2-4. It's very aggressive. It's very high tempo, but that's how I want to play. Anyway, we'll keep showing you. Nemani's not really playing a lot for us. I can't lie to you. He kind of, he's more of a forward option, but because we have so many youth kids that I want game time, he's kind of fallen out of favor. He's still playing decent, 3 goals, mostly off the bench. Can't really complain, but as you see in his last 10, he's only featured in 2. So he's one that's just there for mainly depth. It is what it is. The star man, Okore from last season, still played good for us as a rock in that back line. And he's going to have to continue that until the wheels fall off because we are not getting center backs through the intake. So he's here. As you can tell, he is losing it when it comes to, his everything. His physicals have fallen off a cliff. The once pacey center back is all the way down to a 10, but we are really going to desperately pray that the next 1, 2, 3 intakes have some good center backs because, boy, we need them. Another one that I've been really proud of this year, and I talked about him, I think, last time, is Thomas Sogard. He has turned into a absolute beauty of a prospect in our midfield. As you can see, played 20 games for us in the league, started every single one of those, and he had 3 goals, 2 assists. Some of his highlights, he has flashes, and he has flashes of a very good player. Kim Heimer. I can't talk more about this kid. We talked to you guys last update, and he was winning Golden Gloves in the Superliga. As you can see on the season, he averaged over a 7, playing keeper as a 16 and 17-year-old on what was predicted to be the worst team in the Superliga in over a decade. This team had no hope. And ever since he took that starting job from Falksgaard, he never looked back. He won the fans' favorite player of the year. The fans resonate with Kim Heimer. He's one of our own. He is absolutely going nuts. 27 games, he had 7 shutouts. If I remember right, look at him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it says he tied for 4th, but we know he's not because this is technically 1 tied. This is 2, that's 3. Actually, he's 4th. Either way, he finished top 5 in shutouts in the league, and he didn't even play all the games. There was 32 league games. He only played in 27. 27 of those things. And he had 7 clean sheets. So if we can get this kid some help with some center backs and some better back line and maybe a nice holding midfielder, who knows what Kim could do. So fans player of the season right here. He won the Golden Glove. What more needs to be said about the kid? And look at these. Just look at him. Bask in it. No one has had more progression on the team than him. In 1 year's time, he has doubled some of his stats. So some other people to look at as we're doing this. Roman never got to play yet. He just turned 16 after the season's over. So he's going to be very important next year. I don't think he's obviously bumped up anything in a couple months, but I mean, just look at the kid. He's a freak. We're going to talk about a lot of kids and players right now simply because this is like our end of the season wrap up and there's no off season to go into. So the next cut that we go to is going to be me playing match 1 of year 3. But look at Roman. I mean, easily, I'm giving him the number 2, and he's going to be our out and out starting right back starting next season. Another one that came through that first intake that I didn't think much of. Honestly, I didn't pay him much attention. He had good passing, and that was kind of about it out of the box. But as you can see, he's developed into quite a player at 16. The little short king on the wing, Michael Grave. I just found a new nickname for him, the short king on the wing. He finished the year with 3 goals, 7 assists. A 10-goal contribution in your first season ever playing professional football, for me, is crazy. 22 of those were starts. He got a lot of game time. And in the last 10, he had 5 assists. 5 assists from the kid. The short king on the wing is doing it. So let's take a look at his progression and how he's been doing so far. And as you can see, he's also another one that is just off the charts progression. He couldn't dribble much when he first came into us. He's got that up to a 12 now. His first touch is up to double digits. Look at his mentals. Anticipation has gone all the way up 3 to 10. He is looking very good. And I think, again, no one is going to be touching that starting job from him anytime soon. One play that we do need to talk about that's going to bring a tear to my eye is Nico Thompson. Light a candle if you got it. The injuries have kept haunting him just like it did in year 1. The player that was so big for us in our promotion year. I know his average wasn't great, but he had 10 goal contributions, and he was the heartbeat of the team. As you can see, he's currently out on 2 months, almost coming back, but this season was just cursed for the kid. 2 days, 3 days, 11 days. He was coming off the 3 months, then he's out again for 2 months. And as you can also tell, it was not kind on his regression. Look at those physicals. He's a shell of what he used to be physically. It just is what it is. He's getting up there in age just like Okore. This is kind of a very big turning point for the series, though, because now we're going to have a changing of the guard. Thomas Sogard is now the new Nico Thompson. He's the man in the middle. He's the man controlling the pace for us. He's the man being the heartbeat in the middle. All right, before we time jump to the 3rd season and we go over the key players for the upcoming season, and then we play that first game together, the last thing I want to take a look at is the overall Superliga stats, because some of our players did actually feature. So for the Golden Boot race, though we were not close to it at 18, Julius Volby was down there at 10, and more impressively is Casper Voss netting 8. So they all finished top 20, both of them. So we do have a budding strike partnership with those two. When it comes to, obviously we already went over shutouts, but when it comes to assists, look who's there. We got 3 in the top 20. Of course, Wogglemuth being around, he has still kept his regression to a minimum. So he's still playing well for us, as you can see, featured in a lot of games. And he's going to do the same next year, still knocking in 5 assists. Nicholas on the left back knocking in 6. And the man we were just talking about, the short king on the wing, having 7 assists. But that was the update of Season 2. That was the Season 2 wrap-up. We're going to now get into the Year 3 next time we see you. Next time we time jump, just here in a second when I snap my fingers. We'll see you just in a second. Yes, Year 3, Match 1. You see what's on the screen. We're in the 4-2-4 like normal. We do have Kim Heimer leading us in the net, just like we already knew was going to happen. He is back there fresh off of his first, real full season. This is going to be a very big test for him. We are starting the year without our star boy, Casper. He's still unhappy. It is what it is. We really can't do much about it. But other than that, not too much is going to be changed from him. I think he's in for a really good year. He is locked up for those extra 2 years, but he's not missing from injury. He's only suspended for this first game due to yellow cards or a red card or something last year. It is what it is. Either way, back to Kim. Again, he's going to be in for another good season. The left back is still Mortensen. Of course, we have Okore on his last legs, honestly. Remember, we need center backs badly. I mean, I don't know what else can be said about it. His partner back there is Emil Christensen, who, again, he's not the best. He's 29, so he doesn't have much left. But speaking of someone who does have much left, it's that boy, Roman the Great. He is in for a year. I can't wait to see what he can do getting a full season starting from him. whether it's right back, whether it's all the way up there. And look at that. He's going to be our set piece taker at 14. Now, speaking of another important player who is getting up there in age, it is Wigglemuth, the Wiggle, whatever you want to call him. And his midfield partnership is going to be Thomas Sogard, who is locked up on a new contract. He had a very good season last year, like we talked about. Can't wait to see what he can do this year. Another year of development. The short king on the wing starts again for us at the left wing, looking to come back after a 7-assist season last season. And on the opposite wing is going to be JV Julius Voldby, another good kid that has had a very good year, looking to improve on it. Now, since Casper the Ghost is missing, Andreas Breedel will be starting up top. The guy that got us promoted almost single-handedly, who had a very down year last year, so I'm really hoping that he can make it up this year. And his strike partner will be Michael Harlev, the 6'3", 16-year-old who is also looking to improve on his first debut season. So this is the initial 11. The bench is as normal as the bench can be. We don't have a lot of depth, but we kind of knew that. So I'm looking forward to see what we can do. As you saw, Nico Thompson still looking a little old. Sorry for my phone going off. It was an email. All right, before we get into this, here are the preseason standings. They do have us at 900 to 1, so a little bit better than last year at 1,000 to 1. You can see our key players for the overall league is Casper the Ghost and Julius Voldby. No one close to the overall Dream 11. And we are going to be playing against OB, who got promoted with us that very first season. So here is how we are lining up against them. They are in a more traditional 4-3-3, 2 DMs, a 4-2-3-1, if you will. And we are in the a little bit more attacking 4-2-4. All right, here we go. Match day 1, year 3, away at OB. Let's see what we can do. Again, the philosophy, be dangerous. Not that dangerous, though, where we just give the ball away. But again, we're in this 4-2-4. We know it's a little bit attacking. We really don't have the midfielders that are going to be tracking back, being too defensive. Wigglemuth is the one that's going to be playing more of the ball winner, more of the destroyer. Spoiler alert, he's not. He is much more of a playmaker. He wears the number 10, and we're asking him to act like he's a number 6. So it is what it is. I just really hope that this year we don't take that much of a step back when it comes to our defense. Again, the only new addition we have in the back line is Roman the Great. Now, he's amazing. Yeah, we know that. But, we almost just scored instantly right there. About 7 minutes in. That would have been nice. But, again, the only new addition on the back line is Roman, who's a right back. And that wasn't a position that we were specifically, down bad in. Obviously, it was a little thin, so it's a good addition, don't get me wrong. But he's not a defensive midfielder. He's not a center back, which we really need. So I think at some point this year, maybe even right now, pin, ref. Ugh, okay, Michael Grieve went to the ground. Honestly, it looked a little rough, but I figured he's a 5'5" winger, so it maybe just looked rough because he's small. But regardless, oh God, Kim dives, can't reach it, and they take advantage and go up 1-0 in the 10th minute. Ooh, I can't wait to see this replay back. I don't know if this was Kim's fault for diving at a ball or if he was just unlucky. Okay, so their fullback's bringing it all the way down, and he whips a really good ball in. Ooh, yeah. It's almost like he was diving for the first shot, and the guy got pushed down and missed it, so then the back post was just wide open. So I'm going to chalk that up to unlucky. Could be an ugly game. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't really feel the best. Like this is a win for us. You know what I mean? Like this isn't an easy trip. Remember, OB's the team that came up promoted with us in our first season, but they won the league by a landslide. And they also played really good last year. Their first year back in the top flight, they finished 5th. And they're predicted 5th again this year. I think actually last year they finished 4th, but you know what I mean. They're better than us is what I'm trying to say. So again, I'm just kind of good save right there by Kim. I'm just kind of terrified about our defense taking a step backwards because Okore is older. He's 33 or about to turn 33, and he's going to just keep falling off that cliff. And oh my God. I mean, what can we even do there? I guess mark the man, but that guy just hit perfect 90-degree top bends on Kim. I mean, what can we do? down 2-0 in the first 17 minutes. I don't even want to see the replay. Show some passion, boys. Let's go into the locker room at least with one goal in our pocket. Let's not go in empty-handed. Whips it over to the short king on the wing, and he gives it to Brito, who knocks one in. Our first goal of the third season is on the board with actually a really nice team goal off a throw-in. I was going to start criticizing why are we crossing it to the 5'5" winger. Volby gets it right back to Roman the Great, who sends in a great cross. It was just to a really short guy, but he volleys it right across the net. Well, not the net, but right across the box to Brito, who just bangs it in calmly. Okay, 2-1, game on. About 20 minutes in, this has been an exciting first half. My God, I thought we were going to be down 3-1, but Kim steps up, makes a good save. He's going to be in for it again, I think, this year. I'll be stunned if he has another good, Golden Glove level season, considering, like I keep saying, I believe our defense is going to be tragic. Okore being a starter, Emil Christensen being a starter. I mean, Emil's about to turn 30, and he's already not that great. I mean, everybody that's watching this, please start crossing your fingers and praying that, one, Sogard's not hurt, but two, more importantly, that we get center backs aplenty in this upcoming intake. Because if we don't, it's gonna be a tough challenge. Oh my God! And then Kim right there gets done up for 3-1 in the first half, while Sogard is on the ground, potentially with a bad injury. Let's hope he was just selling it. And what happened here? Okay, well, looked like we made a weird tackle, and I don't need to see the rest. It looks like our defense just kind of, was doing what our defense was going to do. So, it wasn't Sogard, or I think Sogard was the one injured on the ground, but it must have been trying to sell it. But now, Wogelmuth has actually picked up a real knock, and he won't be able to carry on. And it's going to be Morberg. So let's see what he can do. He's a little bit of a better ball winner, but much worse when it comes to actually playing the game of football. So we'll see what that does. Kim Heimer comes out to collect that one, and he does. Let's at least get to the locker room 3-1. Only down 2. It's doable. Okay. Can we make something? Whoa. Oh, boy, that was an absolutely insane chance that almost went in. That would have been already potential goal of the... Wow, okay. We're getting luck. We are trying to have some life here right before the half, as we maybe only go down 1 before halftime, which would be big. Roman the Great with the corner tries to find Emil. He cannot. And Julius Volby collects it, plays it backwards, and that's probably, that will be half. All right, boys, so we have our work cut out for us. Down 3-1. Not the best thing that we have seen from us as the mighty B93. Realistically, we don't have many options to, change the game. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have depth. We don't have quality all over the bench. We have, wow, that was dangerous by Okore. Thought we were going to give up an own goal there, or a really bad sloppy goal at the least. So anyway, yeah, I mean, you guys know we don't have a lot of depth. It is what it is. I'm just really hoping and praying and asking that we can get a center back or 4 in this next youth intake, because Okore, I'll be stunned if he comes back another year. I want him to, even if he drops off a cliff, because we just need body. That was a good ball. Boy, Kim didn't even get a hand on it. They just missed wide across the net, but that was a really good sequence by OB. I mean, as you can see, right? They are a much better team than us. They're a much more talented team than us. It might also not be, too far off to say that it doesn't help that they're playing a more solid tactic. Meanwhile, we are playing a 4-2-4 like we're going to come out and dominate everybody. But I don't know. I'm trying to make sure we can play most of our good players, and it just happens to be, sadly, that most of our good players are forwards. We have a plethora of strike options. We have a good amount of wing options, and then everything else is just meh. We don't have center backs. We don't really have a wealth of left backs. Oh my God, they almost score again. We don't have a wealth of midfielders, really. Like, most of our midfielders that we still have, guys, are from that year 1 team. Guys like Morberg, guys like the captain, Wogelmuth. They're all guys that are getting up to their 30s and that have been around. So it is what it is. Speaking of, I've just noticed Volby is getting really tired, and it looked like he picked up a knock. So we're going to go ahead and throw in Namani. We're also going to sub off and bring in Emil from the right back, who is now going to luckily be able to play both flanks when it comes to the fullback. So Emil Molnar is coming on at left back. Emmanuel Nemani is coming up in the right wing instead of Julius Voldby. Good ball right here. The short king on the wing takes it all the way in himself for his first goal of the season. Michael Grieve, the kid that I did never think much of, but who had a great season in his first debut last year with 7 assists and I believe 4 goals, maybe 3 goals. And here he is now, just taking the ball, cutting inside, and using his left foot to kick it right past the keeper, and he brings us right back within striking distance, honestly. 1 goal down, 78 minutes in, 70 minutes in. I think this is possible. I mean, on paper, we're not getting played off the pitch. They have more shots on target. We have the possession. We just need to be doing more with it. Roman the Great playing a little 1-2 with him and Nemani, nothing coming from it. Emmanuel wins the ball back, but OB is going to be the one taking it. And this is why our defense is terrifying. We don't have pace back there, especially in the center back department. So when we get countered badly. Please close him down. Where are all of these numbers coming from? And luckily for us, we deflected for a corner, but that looked terrifying there for a second. They had numbers flying forward. All of our backfield looked like we were just at a loss. Good corner from them, but it's going nowhere. Okay, about 10 minutes 10 minutes left, and we are down 1. This is what I was saying earlier. We don't have a lot of game changer options off the bench. You know what I mean? This is just it is what it is. Sadly, we got to make a move somewhere. Michael Moritz, the captain, Nico Thompson, who's aging. Which one looks more dangerous right now? It's going to be Nico, simply just because he has more quality going forward, even though he doesn't have athleticism anymore. Bad ball by Okore, gives it right away to OB. 7.5, 8 minutes left, and OB on the break again. He cuts it back. Ooh, right back wide open, and he whips in a good cross, but it's not going anywhere. And I lied because Kim Heimer reverted back to the Kim Heimer he looked like when he was 15. What was that? I mean, okay, the cross was good. The header was terrible. It just went straight up in the air. And instead of grabbing it or even clearing it well, Kim just kind of volleyball set it up right in the middle of this air. So, oh my God, we were down 4-2. We almost scored, but it would have been offside anyway. Yeah. I think that's gonna be game 1. We lose 4-2. We didn't play bad. Well, that's a lie because that last goal was horrid. But overall, right, we looked decent. We scored twice. We were threatening. Excuse me. Wow, and they score a 5th just to really pile it on as I'm trying to say that we didn't play that bad. All right, we get it. You guys played better than us. We get it. I get it. So, yeah, that's gonna be match day 1. 5-2 loss away at OB. It is what it is. Maybe the writing was on the wall about this defense and about this back line. I really hope not. I really hope that this isn't what is in store for us for this upcoming season in year 3. And if it is, I think we're gonna start having to tweak tactics. Hopefully, I can figure out something that prevents a lot of leaking in the back line. Oh my God, they're going for 6. We at least stop the bleeding, and it's 5-2. So, wow. What a match day 1 we had. I mean, on paper, it ended up being pretty bad simply just because of the very lopsided shots on target. We may have had possession here and there, but we didn't do much with it, and we end up paying the price as we lose 5-2 away to OB. Wogamuth is out for 3 to 4 months. Honest to God, an absolute terrible sight to see. That's not what we want to see to start the season. We start the season with a 5-2 loss and one of our key midfielder players being gone for the first 3 to 4 months of the season. So let's see if we can aim for the 7-8 spot. It might be another year of 9. It might be another year of battling relegation. Who knows? But all I know is next time we see you guys, we'll be back like normal in March. So see you just there in a second. Okay, welcome back again. It's March 23rd, 2026. It's about to be the end of our 3rd season. You know why we're here. We have another youth intake, the third youth intake of the season. Well, not the season, the third youth intake of the save. And I might say this is one of the most important ones, and you'll find out why. Now, before we get into it, I am going to make you guys wait just a little bit because we have a lot to catch up on. I know there's been 22 games. You guys watched me play the very first game of the season, and we got absolutely smashed by OB 5-2. You guys watched it happen. It is what it is. As you can see, the first month and a half of our season was horrific. 5-2 defeat, 4-1 defeat, 2-1 defeat. We finally got our first win in match day 4, 2-1, and then we went right back to our catastrophic ways. 7-3. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the first 8 matches in the league, we had 1 win, 1 draw. If you could see the, league positions so far in the year, my brother, it was diabolical. I mean, we were fighting relegation bad at the beginning of the season. We were just constantly in 12th until we kind of finally started to hit our gear. Crazy enough, we had the first round that we entered the cup, which obviously was the second round. We were playing a team from the non-leagues, if I remember right. Okay, the third, 3 division, which is the 4th tier of Danish football. They're an amateur team. I'm not kidding you. Look at the score. We only beat them 2-1, and we didn't beat them until extra time when Andreas Brito came in and saved the day. So I was already like, Jesus Christ, we can barely beat a team in the 4th division that's an amateur side. It's a bunch of like plumbers that playing us, and we can barely beat them. But that win did kickstart us. Right before that win, I had a team meeting with everybody, told everybody like, hey, look, let's lock in because we suck, and we know we suck, so let's get better. That cup win propelled us to finally get out of the mud of dead last. That led us on a nice 4-game winning streak, 2 of those being cup wins, but we beat AC Horsens, who's another good team. We beat AAB. Somehow we beat FC Midtjylland, which obviously, they're a pretty good side, and we 2-0'd them. Now, one reason that we did struggle very bad in the beginning and let in all of these goals, Kim got injured very early. I think it was in this second game right here against Viborg. Kim went out with his injury, and as you can see, by match day 3, Falksgaard was taken over, and he played horrific, just like he did last season. 4 goals he played so far, 12 goals allowed, and he averaged a 6.5. But anyway, as we started to catch fire, we did come back down to earth, but it was fine because those wins really propelled us. Another thing that it looks like similarly to last season is since we are still trying to do the whole philosophy of if we suck, we're at least going to suck and be attacking. We're at least going to suck and try to score a lot of goals. And we have. We had some big wins, like you see, 6-1, 3-2, but then we also have huge losses, like the one we showed earlier, 7-3. We had an 8-2 defeat here. The last game I just played, we lost 5-1, another 5-1. So it kind of shows because when we look at the team stats, we have the 6th best attacking team, so we're right dead middle, but we have the absolute worst defensive team. I mean, 22 games have been played, and we've allowed 58 goals in those 22 games, and that is putting us at a negative 18 goal differential, which again is worse in the league. That's why I'm saying this youth intake is one of the most important, if not the most important so far, and we'll keep getting to that. Let's take a look, though, around the league. One thing you're going to notice is Kasper Voss has asked to leave, and he's been doing that since the beginning of the season. So after we ended year 2, he only had 1 year left on his deal, and obviously I tried to sign him. He told me no, he didn't have any interest. The team's not good enough, this, and that. And I kept trying to, talk to him and his agent, like, hey, what will it take? Can I give you money? I kept promising him that the youth kids that were coming up, just like he did, are going to be amazing. And we're going to, develop a team with him and all this stuff. He didn't care. So I went ahead and did a dangerous thing, and I triggered his 2-year extension. So he is still locked up for us for 2 more seasons. He's here whether he likes it or not. So this is his first year where he's been starting from day 1. So 11 goals, 4 assists in 17 starts, averaging a 7.13. And I think, as you see, he's top 5 in the Golden Boot race, and he's really not far off. Another person that actually is in here is Michael Harlev. So let's take a look at him. As you see, 8 goals, 4 assists for our other striker. So the strike partnership of the 17-year-olds that we have had since episode 1 have really started to spark, have really started to shine. But let's go back to Kasper really quick because I want to show you guys his progression. He hasn't progressed a ton because he came with us out the box, almost a bona fide star. As you see, a lot of his progression are his mentals, which happens to a lot of young guys, which is fantastic. His anticipation is through the roof. His things like his decision is fantastic. The off the ball is now getting very good. The only thing I think he really needs to improve on to become even that much better is if we can get some speed out of the kid. It's went up 1 in both acceleration and pace, but he's still not the quickest. The acceleration definitely hinders him a lot because we do play him up top at an advanced forward, and you need that pace. You need that first step. So if we can get that out of him, he will be fantastic. One other thing about him, we can't stop winning awards. Casper the Ghost won the Danish Male Talent Player of the Year. And as you can see, a lot of other players that are big in real life have won this award. Højlund, Jonas Wind. Funny enough, all the way down here back in 2012, Okore, one of our own. So it's very interesting to see. But he has won that, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. He has a really bright future ahead of him. So hopefully we can keep him. Speaking of, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. We have had a transfer, our very first transfer of this entire save, and it was Andreas Bredel. Andreas Bredel, the striker that pulled us to promotion almost single-handedly that first year with 15 goals and 6 assists. Last year for us was okay with 6 goals and 2 assists, but this year was amazing to start off the season. He had 6 goals, 3 assists in 16 games and was averaging close to a 7-1. The problem with Andreas is he had the same idea as Casper. He didn't want to stay. He had no interest in staying. His contract was up at the end of this season, so June 30th he would have been released. And the issue was, I kept offering it. He kept rejecting. I kept offering. He didn't want to talk. But the real turning point was he made his mind up that at the end of the year he was going to leave on a free. So I had a tough decision of, do we keep him for the last 6 months of the season and help us fight relegation, or do we try to cash in on whatever we can cash in on and just let him go since he's going to leave anyway? And I decided to say, hey, this guy is a forward that plays mainly on the left wing or mainly up top, and we have options up there, especially with Casper, especially with Michael Harlev, Julius Voldby, the short king on the wing over on the left wing. So I was like, I don't think he's going to make that much of a difference where we're going to sneak into the championship group if we keep him. So let's cash in on him. And that's what we did. We transfer listed him, and AAB came in and swooped him for $1.7 million. Something else to touch on is our youth recruitment has gone up. So have our training facilities. The only weird thing is, every time I go talk to the board for a request, right now, obviously I can't request anything in the facilities. The weird thing is, every time I go request something in facilities, they only offer training. They don't ever allow me to even ask to improve the youth facilities. So I'm praying to God that's not a bug, because if this gets hard stuck at 3 stars, this save is going to be tough. And another thing that's new is our kits. We have the nice long sleeve kits that all of the new players keep wearing. So now Andreas Jorgensen Berg, they come in wearing these nice cuffed kits and collared kits, and now they match the exact kits that we're going to be wearing. So it's perfect. Let's go back to some other players on the team to show you guys how they've been doing so far this year. Julius Voldby's been having a really weird year. He's extremely hot and cold this year. 4 goals, 2 assists, mainly playing off that right side as an inside forward. A lot of the times he plays striker too, and he's not really doing that well. He has a lot of games like this where he is just terrible. So it's been weird, but one thing that we can always keep solace in is his progression has been off the charts. Remember, this kid was on our team since day one. He was one of the first kids that we highlighted when we were talking about he's going to be someone that we can develop. That's exactly what this save is for. And as you see, some of these technicals are off the charts now. His dribbling was 10 when we got him. It's 14. First touch was 17. It was 14. So, he has gone up and up and up. And at the end of the day, he's also worth a lot of money. So you never know. But we'll go into all of the player stats more at the end of year 3. I think that's more fitting to do. And then we'll also talk about, which ones we're looking forward to come to year 4. The only one thing I want to talk about last before we go into the youth intake is why I say this youth intake is so important. We already talked about how bad our defense is. We've known this since the first year we got promoted, right? We've known that this defense is terrible. And as we already talked about, we have 58 goals allowed in 22 matches. That's astronomical. Kim Heimer can only do so much back there in the net. Terrible news is, Okore, who we have had since the first season, he's 34 and he's hanging up his boots. He's retiring at the end of the year, and I even asked him to reconsider. He's not good. He's only good for the third division. He's not good. But that's how bad our defense and our back line is. I asked and begged bro to please God give me one more year. And he said no, he can't do it. So, I mean, look, again, I'm begging somebody that's averaging a 6'5" to stay. That's how bad the back line is. He has no pace. He has no nothing. His stamina is terrible. His physicals have dropped off an absolute mountain since we first had him. I mean, look at these. Down 7, down 3 in his technicals. All of his physicals have just fallen. So he's on his way out at the end of the season. And even over here on paper, these two, our top 2 center backs on paper, are our left back and our right back. That's how bad the line is. The left back, Nicholas Mortston, and the right back, Emil Moeller, are our 2 best center backs on the team. So that's why the back line's so bad. That's why we have allowed so many goals. And that's why I keep saying this intake has to be so important. And I will say, I did see a sneak peek, just like always, because that's when I know how to start saving and start recording. One of the elite talents is a center back. So please, God, hold your breath, and let's see what we got on our hands. Our annual youth intake has arrived for assessment. Whisper quietly, but it could be a golden generation again with Jans Peter Hansen, the diamond of a very strong group. So let's take a look at him first. Another striker, because for some reason we can't stop, producing forwards. Okay, a 6'3", natural deep-lying forward. He's very good. He's obviously not going to be someone that comes in and dethrones, Casper or Michael Harlev right off the bat. But I definitely get why he is listed as the diamond. Good mentals, fairly ambitious, 11 determination, good flair, good off the ball, especially for how young he is, good composure, again, especially for how young he is. Physicals are the things that need work, but he's 15. Those will come all along with time. Technicals are weird. Not a natural finisher, not that great at dribbling, but he's really, really good with his technique. And, he can have a free kick every now and then. So I get it. I see it. I think he'll definitely be good over time. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for Mads Koza. Elite name. Let's pray to God that he's good. The thing I'm already excited about is that he's already a 2-star center back, which, to be fair, is probably like one of our best because the center backs are just so terrible. So please, Mads Koza. Okay, I like it. I wish he was a little bit more consistent. But I like the competitive streak. He's got a little Sergio Ramos in him, a little Pepe in him, where he's just going to be a little bastard back there on the back line. That's perfect. Okay, he's 6'2". He turns 16 in actually just about 2 weeks, which is great because, honest to God, we could probably use him in the last 10 matches of the season. A natural center back, but he can also play left back and defensive midfielder, which is really nice. Of course, we love versatility. Also naturally left-footed. So he's 6'2". He's not the strongest, but he is a physical freak if we actually break this down. A 15-year-old center back who's that tall, having 14 acceleration and 10 pace already is crazy. So I really hope he can, if his pace gets to 12 and his acceleration goes to 15, 16, especially for the Danish division, this kid's going to be a freak. Really brave, really good decisions, really good determination. The positioning's not the best, but again, he's 15. Heading also isn't the greatest. The thing I love to see about regions that come in, new gens that come in on the defensive side, is their tackling is high. Because tackling is one of the things you can't train. Yeah, I mean, look, he's already better than Rene Bertelsen, who we've had since the first intake. He's got 2 years on him, and he hasn't developed into anything that we can use. Mads Koza, thank Christ, we did get a center back, and he is actually good. Okay, so we only had 2 in the elite talents this time, but it looks like we have a lot in the top talents. Let's take a look at, let's quickly run through all of them. Another 6'2" goalkeeper who's actually looks pretty nice. He has no agility. He's just definitely a shot stopper, but you still need agility. Unambitious, but 15 determination, so maybe we can train that up a little bit and get him a better personality type, but Marco's not bad. Thomas Madsen, defensive midfielder, which we also need a lot of. Okay, he's definitely more of a DLP. He's not terrible by any means. I think he could definitely turn into something, so I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Anders Niestrup, great name. Right winger, okay, comes in with some pace, some good flair, good determination, and a decent bit of dribbling. All right, somebody else that we can maybe turn into something up in the wings. Fickle personality, but good determination. So again, hopefully with a bit of mentoring, he can change that personality type. Andreas Gellert, crazy name. Another pacey winger, but this one much worse when it comes to dribbling and his determination. Honestly, his mentals overall are horrid. The only one that's above 10 is leadership. So don't know if Andreas will ever turn into much, but hey, there's always the depth we need. Another winger, like I said, we can't stop producing forwards. I don't know why. I wish it wasn't the case, but Kurt Knudsen, great name. More of a technical winger this time, less pace, but more with his technique. Overall, we know what this is highlighted by. Even if the only person that ever is good comes out of this is Mad Koza, that is going to be huge for us because we literally don't have anything else back there at the center back. I mean, he's only half a star worse than Okore, who has been our star center back for 3 years now. So that's the youth intake for year number 3. And as you can see, we have the mighty last 10 games of the season left, just like last year. We are in a better spot this season, though. So we finished in 8th. I know last year when it was all said and done, we finished 9th. But currently going into this last 10 games of the year, we're sitting in 8th. And we are tied when it comes to that final spot. So if you guys remember, in the relegation stage, we play 10 games. We play only the 10 teams that are here on this table. Now, I don't want to say that we're safe because, again, relegation is the bottom 2 teams. And we're only 3 points above the 5th spot. And really, we're only 5 points above 6th, which is dead last. So it's going to be very tough. Of course, our defense is the worst spot we're going to have to really, really hope we can tighten up on and lock in. So hopefully we don't get relegated. You guys will be along with the ride. If we get into some very squeaky games towards the end, I will definitely do some live comms on them, whether it's us fighting relegation or whether it's us fighting for this number 1 spot, because that's why I wanted to mention it. If we do top the relegation group, we go to a European place playoff where we play somebody from the top half group, and if we win that, we actually sneak into Europe. So you never know what happens. Denmark is a crazy league. That's why I'm happy we're here. And we have 10 matches left. So I'll see you guys just back here in a minute, either playing a live comm or wrapping up year number 3. So see you then. It is time. We are coming back for a live commentary video of the second to last match of year number 3. And it is an absolute banger with storylines aplenty. So let's take a peek at it. We have had a bit of a mixed bag in the relegation group. As you can see, we are only 5 points above safety. Now, Lyngby down there, Lyngby, I guess, they're already relegated. They have failed. They can't go up. So there's 1 spot left for relegation. And funny enough, our next game is against AAB. And don't forget who is on their team. If we go check out their team, the traitor Benedict Breedel himself is on this club. So this is the team we are about to play. If we win, we are safe from relegation. But more importantly, if we win, we condemn AAB straight down to relegation, which would just be so sweet considering Breedel wanted to leave us so bad and we shipped him off to the team that we could then relegate. So let's do it. Let's get it done. Since we last saw you guys, we started the relegation group. It has been draw central. Draw, loss. So the first 5 games of the relegation stage, we didn't win a thing. We just couldn't win. And I was sick about it. And just like last season, when Kasper Voss came alive in the relegation group, look at him again. The last 10 matches, he has 7 goals and an assist. This kid, he lives for the big moments. I know it doesn't really have that in his pro or cons column, but I promise you, this guy shows up when the stage is the biggest. And also, I mean, look, he's got 16 goals, 5 assists this year. So he has turned up. Bad news is he can't play today. Well, rather, he can't start today. He's really tired. I don't feel like getting him injured. So he could be potentially coming off the bench. Also, you see, I finally folded. Look, our defense was so bad, like historically bad. We have allowed 74 goals in 30 games. Like, that is criminal. So I finally got rid of trying to run this. trying to run the 4-2-4 because obviously that was way too attacking for how bad our back line is. And the last 3 games, I have reverted to a 4-3-3. Now, I did build this myself. It's not like a copy and paste, like gegenpress 4-3-3 crazy, right? It's just a very compact 4-3-3. The fullbacks both on support, the wingers are on attack, and it's worked pretty well. I can't really lie. I mean, last game speaks for itself. We won 3-0 running it. The first game we drew 2-2, but the 3-0 really kind of solidified it for me that we should probably just stick with it for the last 2 games of the season and see what happens. And if it's good, we'll carry it on to the next season. So, like I said, that is the table set for right now. This is a huge game. It would pull us completely out of relegation, but more importantly, it would send AAB straight down, which would be just beautiful because Benedict Bradel, that's all I'm saying. Benedict Bradel. Look at the new kits, the new 3D kits over there. They look perfect, just like they do in real life. The little collar, the Puma sponsor, the logo, the kit sponsor being I think it's like a Danish beer or something from the Copenhagen area. So, okay, so even a point here, make sure that we don't go down. And I think that also means a point here would send AAB down. Oh yeah, it's time. Let's go out here and do this. And then after this game, we will wrap the season up, and that'll be this week's video. So you guys got season 2 and 3 in one. I'm sorry it took a little long to get out. It has been, it was a busy week. Of course, then American Mother's Day was happening during all the recording. So, there was a good amount of time where some days I could only play for like an hour or 2. And, getting through seasons at a time, that is not long enough to do all that. But here we are. Here's the team. Kim Heimer talking to the troops, rallying up the troops. You can see the lineup on the bottom of the screen. Michael Harlev takes the lone up top position with the short king on the wing on the left, Julius Voldby on the right. We have Ludwig and the new midfielder who I showed you guys earlier in the video, Shadi. Now, he has progressed a lot, but due to, God, thank you, that wasn't a goal. Due to rotation needs right now, he is going to be playing as one of our CMs right now. He's a very athletic winger, but he also can play midfield. He's not the best passer. He's got a little bit of work rate, so we're going to see what he can do. Of course, Wagomuth playing the DLP and then the normal back line for the season, and we'll kind of see how they can hold up. Good ball. Oh, my God, the short king on the wing necks one in. Knocks one in, but you know what I mean. 13 minutes in, 1-0 for the boys, B93. And if we can hold this, not only are we not relegated, but we send these boys straight down to the 2nd division. I can't believe a little 5'5" winger just dunked on somebody on a back post. Oh my God, he's grown. He's 5'6". Wow. The short king no more potentially. I swear to God, when he first came in the youth take, I need to go back and find it. I swear he was only 5'4". And then he grew to 5'5", and I think now he's 5'6". But either way, he's definitely grown at least an inch. Now, this is a great start. I think, if I remember right, I know it just happened 30 seconds ago, but I'm pretty sure that was a corner. Short king on the wing. Okay, loses possession. AAB they're pretty good on paper. So this is going to be a tough game, even though I know they're under us. But remember, we still aren't that great. We can go ahead and start talking about it, but I am, I think the best we finished this year is 9th, just like last season. Oh, that's a goal. That was a good ball by them. That was really good. Okay. Anyway, though, I think the best we can finish this season is 9th. So that would be back-to-back 9th place finishes. Not bad considering we knew this was going to be a little bit of a challenge, but next season, year number 4, I really want to start turning up the heat. Whether it's we stick in a more classic formation like this, whether it's we, try some new things and make a bunch of tweaks here and there. But next season, I really want to push to 7th. You know what I mean? Like I really want to start seeing an improvement. Hopefully also, most of these guys are going to start being 18, 19. So they should also start reaching another level again. So I think next season is going to be a very big one. Ooh, Shadi. Okay, Shadi goes baseline. Oh my God, what a ball. What a nice goal from him. I think that is his first club goal. There it is, yeah. His very first club goal for the professional squad of B93. So Wogamuth just gives it over to him, and Shotty just kind of dribbles a little bit. Nothing too fancy, but he cuts outside and then sends one right across the keeper. Can't stop it. That's what we like to see. Another Youth Academy prospect coming through, making a debut. So here we go. Shadi Mansour puts us up 2-1 at halftime. And as you can see with the stats, right, the 4-3-3 just gives us a more solid foundation. You know, it's not as risky as the 4-2-4. It gives us still the wings and the forwards that we have with all the current depth. So it isn't bad. It's definitely not bad at all. And even when Casper the Ghost is healthy, right? Oh my God, it was a good ball by Shotty. I can't lie. I feel like that was weird. I feel like Michael Harlev didn't have the greatest first touch, maybe, or maybe it was just a little bit too far past him. But either way, even though, you know, like I was saying, even when Casper is fully healthy, he could play, you know, one of the two midfield roles. You know, him and Thomas Sogard could be the midfield duo together, and Harlev takes the up top, you know, forward by himself. So then we could still have all of our best players out there together in one formation. Because Casper now is a full 5-star for this team, and he's a 5-star in midfield, and he's a 5-star striker. So that brother can play anywhere that we need him. And with his pace not being the greatest, oh my God, that was a laser of a header. We might have to, you know, do that. Jesus. As you guys can tell, we've had a lot of run of games recently, and everyone here is cooked. Everyone here is tired. Oh God. Okay, I would put Roman up at wing and then bring Klaus in, but even Roman is cooked. So I'm gonna do it anyway, just to buy a little bit of time. Okay, we're not gonna do too many. Come on, boys. Got about 25 minutes left, and they are looking fresher than us. Oh, Burrito. Benedict Burrito almost did it. He's been a ghost so far today, knock on wood. He hasn't really been, you know, that was the first highlight I've seen him involved in. So hopefully we can keep it that way. Obviously, we know he's dangerous. He was our star man in that first season, the promotion season. That's a red card, ref. Oh my God, it's Benedict Burrito getting sent off. Send him out. That's right. Benedict Breedle sends the team down to 10 men with 20 minutes left, and he could have just sealed their fate to getting relegated. Yeah. Okay. All right. You know, sometimes FM just really plays with your emotions. They have the player of this match getting sent off, and then Emil Christensen passes it, and Shadi passes it right back to John, who just one-on-ones it to Kim. Okay. All right. That is disgusting to watch. That was painful to watch even. Wow. Okay. Anyway, we can still do this. Pull it out. Emil Moeller whips one in. Nothing happening. That's a corner for us, though. And we're dangerous on set pieces thanks to Wogomuth and Roman. So let's see what we can do. Okay, corner highlight. Casper the Ghost coming in with 15 minutes left. I know we can do it with a draw, but I really want to win, especially now that they're... Ooh, Emil almost bangs one in. I just cannot believe that Benedict Breedle gets sent off and then they score a goal 10 seconds after that. Like, come on, FM. Don't do this to me right now. Okay. Shadi gets it. Short King on the wing. Oh, okay. Not a bad try. I'm not mad at that. At all. I still really do want to win here. I don't want to go out on a draw. Like, it is what it is. I'm going to take off Ludwig. We're going to put in the captain over on the left-hand side. And we need to nut up. We really need to nut up. I don't want to bottle this against a 10-man side. You know what I mean? Okay, Roman's trying to push it. He's gassed. He gives it over to Andreasen, the fullback that has just been subbed in. Ooh, a really dangerous cross by him. It makes it over. Ooh, apparently Casper was offsides. Didn't look that to me, but it is what it is. 5 minutes left. Another corner for us, incoming by Wogelmuth. I'm assuming we're going to aim it for Emil once again. Come on, boys. Okay, Kramer, Michael Grieve over here gets the ball, collects it. He's going to take it all the way down to the touchline. whips it in across the box to the captain. Oh my God. That would have been the goal of the season, maybe the goal of the save, if he toe poked that off a volley and it just banged in the net. All right. If things stay, it should still be the result we want, even though we bottled it on a disgusting mistake from Shadi. I guess that's just, what happens when you're a 16-year-old playing in the biggest game of the club's career, let alone your career. I swear to God. Oh my God. Okay. Kim comes out at a great time and clears the ball from danger, but it is not over yet. They have numbers in the box. Holy God. John couldn't reach it. Oh my God. Clear the ball, boys. Please, Jesus, get rid of the ball. Oh, okay. There we go. That was a close game that should not have been a close game if you look at the stats. And also, if you just watch the same video I watched. But my God, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. That'll matter in the long term when we talk to everybody. But look at that. We still got the job done. We avoided relegation. But more importantly, and more satisfying maybe even, is that we sent AAB down. Look at them. Oh yeah, one match left. It's GG. They are down. Benedict Brito goes down to the second division, and more importantly, he got sent off on a red card in doing so. So here we are. We have one match left. There's a possibility of us coming in second in the group, which would be nice. But regardless, we'll catch back up just here in a second, and we'll wrap up the whole season. All right, year 3 is finished. We are done. We finished the year pretty strong. I can't lie. The first 5 matches of the of the relegation group, like we showed you guys last time, were not strong. Draw, loss. And then we flipped it. Win, draw, draw. So overall, in the last 10 games of the season, we only did lose 2. Now, we only did win 2. We had way more draws than anything. And if we look, just imagine if we flipped even, half of those to wins. Who knows where we could have been. But here we are again. And in that weird spot where I can't really look at the full table because this is just the full table for the preliminary phase. I wish there was a way that after the season was over, it put everybody back in the full table because I have no clue where I finished. I think we're 9th again. Either way, it's, the big thing is we didn't finish high and we didn't get relegated. So the season's over. Let's look at some stats for the year and then we will wrap this video up because I finally need to edit it and get it out for you guys. But you can see Casper right here finished tied for second in the Golden Boot. And it was a crazy season. If you look at the championship group here, our arch rivals sadly did win the league on the last day, but look how tight this was. All 3 of these top teams had a chance to win it, and the last year's winners finished 4th. But either way, what we're here to talk about is the stats. So again, Casper finished second for the Golden Boot with 16. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do next year in another full season and playing in more of a, I guess you can call a more solid formation. I think we are going to continue with the 4-3-3 with a DM back there and kind of just play a little bit more solid, a little bit more conservative now that we have some actual talent everywhere. But overall, the top 20 goal scorers in the league, we had 3. Benedict Brito right here above Harlev, but he's not going to be in the division next year. So see ya. Anyway, speaking of Michael Harlev, another pretty good year for him. He played in 29 matches, had 10 goals, 5 assists. Really, really good stuff from a 16, 17-year-old playing in the top flight of Danish football. And if we take a look at his progress, he's another one that most of his progress is mainly just his mentals. His physicals haven't done much of anything. For some reason, he lost a jumping. For some reason, he's also lost a free kick. And then on his, technicals, he's only went up 1 in finishing. So hopefully he can kind of hit another strive because if he stops around here, he won't ever be anything very, very important for us. Obviously I don't think he's done, but he's not bad. I just really hope he can find another level going into that next season because he would be really good if he can get a little bit better, just a little bit better. Of course, another big player for us was Julius Voldby. He had a really weird, rocky year. It was like, again, like I mentioned, I think earlier in the video, he was hot and cold. He would have runs where it would be, insane performances, and then he would have runs where he would just drop stinker after stinker. Bad news is, as we can see, He just came to us after, funny enough, after we had the draw with AAB, and he said he wants to move to a stronger squad. I tried to talk him out of it. I said, what'll it take to keep you around? We got a bunch of these youth kids coming up, this, and that. And he was just saying, I don't have the time to wait for it, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of just told him, well, that's tough, but you're not leaving. So hopefully he doesn't throw a fit and he sticks around, because we do have him for 2 more years. And I mean, if you look at him, he's one of our best players on the team. So he's another one that has been progressing very good since we had him. I mean, just look at those stats. All across the board, he has gone up plenty. So I really don't want to lose the kid. He's still only 21 years old. His best is still ahead of him. And I think he is very, very important. So those are a few of the players that have progressed pretty good over the year. Now, Emeka Namani is a weird one. He is going to opt out of his contract this season, and it was because in the beginning of the year, he didn't have much game time. As you see, he only had 6 starts, and most of them came after the winter window. But he's not a bad player, so I'm going to see if we can bring him back. Honestly, let's see if he has any interest in even speaking to us right now. Okay. Honestly, let's go ahead and bring him back, because we're always going to need depth. You're not going to be an important player, though. I might just lie to him and give him an important player. You know what? I'm gonna just bite the bullet. Again, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. We'll get him on 3 years. I'll give him some money, because realistically, what else are we spending money on? All right, bitch. I'll give you 2 years then, I guess. Why are you being picky with me right now? All right, anyway, we're bringing the money back. So he'll be back next year. Thomas Sogard is another one that has been going nuts. I mean, just look at his progression, especially in the mentals. He has been popping off everywhere, 4s and 5s across the board. And again, someone that I think is going to be having a really big season next year. I mentioned it during the last game that we just played, but next season is going to be a huge one for us. We're going to have to really make a turning point, because I don't want to finish 9th again. I want to start aiming towards 7th, maybe even squeaking into the top half. Sogard is going to very much benefit from playing in a very solid system, because normally when we were playing mainly the 4-2-4, right, he was kind of hung out to dry a lot. But 4 goals, 2 assists, not the worst. Definitely not the worst. We had looked at Harlov. Kim Heimer here. He had another good year of progression, but Jesus, Lord Almighty, don't look at his goal allowed. I'm not blaming him. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not blaming him. He had 4 shutouts. I think he had much more last year at 7. I mean, he allowed 11 more goals this year in the same amount of games. But again, I'm not really blaming the kid. Our defense just fell off a cliff this year because guys like Okore fell off a cliff. He couldn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, he just died back there. So Kim Heimer had a down year. But again, in my opinion, I'm not really putting all the pressure on him. It's fine. It is what it is. And if we look at his progression, another one, if not the shining beacon of what it really means when you get that game time. I mean, some of those stats going up 7 and 6 is just outrageous. Like these are insane. Do you know how much that is in just 2 years? Like, I mean, he's a leading player for the Nordic Bet Liga. I didn't think this kid would be ever one of our number ones that is, this important. But here we are. So I'm happy to see that is still happening. Now, a weird case is Roman the Great. I remember he came in this second youth intake, right? And we were all ecstatic for him. At least I was. But boy, again, I think another product of the back line just being exposed. So he only averaged a 6-6, but look at those stats. 4 goals, 4 assists, playing at right back. Again, the set piece guy. I know some of the highlights you guys saw earlier. He can kill a free kick. He's very good at that. His corners aren't bad either. And he has that 13 finishing. So maybe throughout his season and throughout his progression, he does move up more into the right wing. He would need to get a little faster at that. So hopefully that comes over time. His progression was hindered, I think, mainly by poor performance. Again, his average rating was just a 6-6. It wasn't the best, but he still had, a lot of good progression for 1 year. Nothing insane, but again, I think that'll come with a better performance from him. And again, another one that I'm not going to blame for a bad performance. I think it was just mainly a cost of the back line wasn't the best. Another product like Kim Heimer that really have just went off the charts when it comes to development. Currently a 3-star ability now, good for the Nordic Bet Liga. 5 goals, 7 assists in the league. That's really good. If I remember correctly, I think he's top 10 in assists. Yeah, he's ninth in the league in assists, which is very impressive for, a guy that we didn't think was that great. But take a look. Dribbling is up 4, first touch is up 5, mentals are up all over the board, and he's still got that 14-14 pace that he came out with. If that ever hits like 15-16, we got a monster on our hands, I think, especially now that he can actually dribble. And his passing technique was always great. So hopefully next year, again, another product of playing with a better, more defensive, more solid system. So we'll find out. We're starting to pick it up, but we also have some people that are starting to really drop off. Jose Corey, we already know, is retiring at the end of the year. So get your last look at him. He was a very important player for us. We can't deny it. Year 1, 20, 27, 26 appearances. And obviously his best work was in the second division, the Nordic Bet Liga. And he was still decent last year. But this year, like we've been saying, he fell off that cliff. He turned 33 and things just went downhill. So it is what it is. He is bidding us farewell. I think he was a great servant to the club. He's not anything good at staffing, so I don't think we're going to be able to bring him back as a staff to keep him around. But you never know. You never know. Looking forward to next year, though, now. Let's take a look at a couple players that I think are going to be very important for us before we wrap this video up. And the first and foremost will be the kid that we just got in this year's youth intake, Mads Koza. As you see, he already featured in 8 games, and they were all in that back final 10 matches of the season, really important matches for us. And he's already benefiting a lot from that with his, stats going straight up. He's 6'2", he's got good pace, and I'm telling you, the 10 pace mixed with that 14 acceleration at his height, he could be huge for us, a very big asset for us. Next year, he's playing 30 games. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I mean, with Okore retiring, he is instantly filling in those shoes of our starting center back. Another one is Shadi, which we talked about in the game we played. He has progressed very well, mainly playing just down in the U19s. As we can see, his dribbling is up 4. His first touch is up 4. A lot of his mentals are up, and he's another very, very quick player. Now, something I like about him is, again, very versatile. We like to have that, especially in a save like this where we can't dip into the transfer market. So he can play on the left wing as a nice backup for Michael Grieve. He can also play in the midfield, kind of mainly more of the, attacking role, maybe a Mazzala, something like that. And then, of course, he could play up top at striker if we need to just throw in a little bit of pace, every now and then. One more honorable mention is AJB, Andreas Jorgensen Berg. Now, he's an odd one, right? A few times throughout the season, he was listed as our very, hottest prospect. He's another one that hasn't progressed a lot. If anything, he's went down a little bit, which is weird. But the reason I want to mention him is because he just won pretty much every award you can win for the U19 division. In his 27 games, he had 19 goals and 11 assists. Now, I understand that's just the U19 division, but I still wanted to mention it because that's what this save's about. So that's going to wrap it up for episode number 2 for the second and third season that we have now wrapped up and finished. Thank you guys again for the very good support on the first video. It was great to hear from a lot of you guys in the comments. Let me know what you want to see more of. And if you got any, comments about your favorite players, who you think is going to be a superstar, who you think might be a flop, things like that, feel free to drop it down below. This is a journey that we're all taking together, and I can't wait to see how far we can go. And I just can't also say thank you enough for being here with us. Whether it's 10 of you guys watching or 1,000 of you guys watching, it's been great so far. So I'll see you guys sometime next week for episode number 3. Thanks again, and everybody, take care.